Finish that. Lonely Attack on the Different World, web novel, chapter 138. There seems to be no law prohibiting construction on the way back, so it's all right. Day 49, morning, on the way to Amoy. Steep mountains towering over a wasteland in a long mountain pass, so narrow it might even be called a crevice. There, deep down the path where the way ahead can be barely seen. Not sure who's talking. Doesn't matter. All troops, take formation. Hold your position. We only need to halt the enemy. Don't leave your posts. The town that lies on the other end of this pass. Nadogi, not Nadogi. Nadogi. Halt the enemy. Don't leave your posts. The town that lies on the other end of this pass. Nadogi. The only domain neighboring the lands of Amoy, the treacherous town of Nadogi. By now, it's no different than an enemy territory, and that boy ventured there alone. He can destroy the town. He surely can. Territory, and that boy ventured there alone. He can... There we go. And that boy ventured there alone. He surely can destroy the town and erase the Lord... Territory, and that boy ventured there alone. He surely can destroy the town and erase the Lord of Nadogi along with their castle. But we cannot allow him to lay hands on the town or its lord. Were he to go against the law of the state, the kingdom itself will take action. I will allow. I gotta make this bigger. My old man eyes can't see this little tiny monitor. Oh, that's better. I will allow no one to get to him, even the king himself, but it will become all-out war. In battle we won't lose, no matter how great the enemy force is, but I had no counter to his words. Even if you win the battle, you won't be able to protect them. Many townsfolk and villagers will die, you know. For real. If it's about winning alone, then a small force is enough, but you have nowhere near enough numbers to protect, kind of. Were the town to be targeted, we would have to station troops for defense, and if the enemy goes for villages, we will have to split our forces even further. Having enough forces for only fighting, we don't have the numbers it takes to efficiently defend. But even if it is to avoid the war, heading to the enemy town with no intention of touching either the lord or the town itself is suicidal. As strong as he is, what good is that strength if he can't even fight them? Or the town itself is suicidal. As strong as he is, what good is that strength if he can't even fight them? Yeah, probably that's probably how to cook them. What good is that strength if he can't even fight them? Yeah, looks like things progressed way further than I expected, somehow. So I think if I just bring Stalker Girl out and return, the citizens will take care of the rest? Probably. I could not fully grasp what he meant, but even so, it was certainly a huge risk. He has to reach this place without fighting, while also bringing another person with him, constantly defending from attacks of pursuers. Even so, he went there. Trying to stop him is pointless. After all, he only informed me, the local lord, out of obligation. He wasn't seeking help or assistance. He simply wanted to avoid inconveniencing us, informing me of an already made decision, and yet heeding my request. As a result, he ended up having to jump into the heart of enemy territory, unable to kill any of the opposing soldiers or attacking the town and its lord. In a low voice, I say to my aides, "It's kind of getting tiresome already. We're also pretty pissed, so how about just charging in? Like all forces going, ah, and swooping in." That's a no-no, it seems. Well, I wasn't serious anyway. I promised that boy that we definitely won't enter that pass. Even so, thinking that our benefactor is there, unable to fight, I'm beginning to get the feeling that maybe it's fine to take some kind of action. But waiting impatiently is the only thing we can do. For some reason, the boy also made me promise that I will listen to my aides. I can't possibly break the promise with our benefactor. That's why. That's why the only thing I can do is wait with impatience and irritation. He managed to come back from the great dungeon, so I will wait. So I wait. So I wait, having faith. He managed to come back from the great dungeon, so I wait, having faith that returning from the neighboring town is no different from a pleasure jaunt for him. All we can do is wait for the boy that is trying to rescue someone from enemy territory without fighting. I'm going to say that's probably a Moy again. How about taking the whole army on a bit of reconnaissance in force? Does a quote inside of a quote mean he's quoting someone else? No, it doesn't. It means that these are separate. That's okay. A bit of reconnaissance in force. No, in which world would the whole army go on reconnaissance in force? How is that any different from an all-out attack? No! So stubborn. As I continued to wait, unable to do anything, an orderly ran up to us. A movement from the enemy? This would be the orderly. I'm not sure where. A movement from the enemy? Residents of Narogi are coming this way, carrying their belongings and household items with them. How should we deal with them? Okay, everyone, prepare for... Find their representative at once and bring them here. Carry this out immediately. You heard him. For the residents to be escaping to the frontier with their possessions, something extremely extraordinary must be happening. Didn't he say that he will not attack the town? No, if he attacked it, then the town of Narogi would have been obliterated without any chance for the residents to escape. Then what is going on? Asking them seems to be the only option. Allow shelter to the residents. Treat the wounded. Prepare the wagons for the ill and the weak. What are the enemy's movements? The enemy force took no action. No action, and yet there is movement. There is a movement, but the enemy force is not acting. What is that report? Normally, such an unintelligible report would be earning them a strong rebuke, but if that is an accurate description of an incomprehensible situation... Oh, I better... Not that I have anyone in here. Okay. Let me make sure I can actually hear myself. Yep. Excellent. What is that? But the enemy force is not acting. What is that report? Normally, such an unintelligible report would earn them a strong rebuke, but if that is an accurate description of an incomprehensible situation, then it can't be helped. The boy that makes incomprehensible the incomprehensible. The boy that makes the incomprehensible happening is currently over that pass. If that is his doing, then they can't be blamed for such an incomprehensible report. I already had that experience when I received the report on the monster raid. The incoherent explanation of puzzling events and their baffling resolution left me in utter confusion. That's just incomprehensible. I'm leaving this place to you. Report to me as soon as you understand the situation. Yes, there is no way to comprehend an incomprehensible event without seeing it with my own eyes. And if the boy is safely... One moment. I need to mute this. I better make sure that I'm actually... Yep, there we go. Alright. Oh god, no, that's the wrong button. Where was I before I got a phone call? And if the boy is safely... And if the boy is safely... Ah, here it is. And if the boy is safely making his way here, then I cannot possibly loaf around in the rear. At the very least, I must welcome him back, awaiting at the front lines. Going on my horse at a gallop, I head to the front lines. Something is happening there. Some sort of event is taking place there. The movements, or rather, what is moving? Report only what you understand at the moment. Currently, we are trying to confirm the situation while maintaining the encirclement, putting priority on sheltering the escaping Nairogi students. Bleh. Oh no! Oh no, I ran into it and spilled my coffee. Oops. Oh, Lord. My coffee's like 2 million degrees right now, too. Whatever. I didn't spill much of it, at least. I have to be careful with this chair. I need to get a different chair. One that's better suited for this. Where was I?
Report only what you understand at the moment.
Currently, we are trying to confirm the situation while maintaining the encirclement, putting priority on sheltering the escaping Narogi residents. The circumstances currently under investigation are too unclear. We don't understand anything.
So, even on the front line, they don't understand what is going on.
At the very least, I hope it's the boy doing something incomprehensible again. Climbing up a watchtower, I take a look at what's happening with my own eyes.
I saw it. Yeah, no idea. If I were to put what I saw into words, the pass leading to Narogi no longer existed. Yup, I don't get it. What I saw was a giant cave. No, since residents of Narogi are making their way here, it should be connected with Narogi's territory, then a tunnel. But the ones leading the residents of Narogi while also protecting them are monsters? These are stone golems. And if there are stone golems, that means it's a dungeon. As proof of that, new golems are emerging out of the tunnel walls one after another and joining the evacuation effort? Yeah, perfectly incomprehensible. Using a Farsight magic tool, I peek into the depths of the tunnel. What I saw there was a stone army that held back Narogi troops while protecting the people, allowing them to escape. Its first line held giant stone shields, defending against incoming attacks, while back rows held very long stone pikes, sticking them through the gaps between the shields, forming a spear wall, keeping Narogi troops at bay.
Keeping Narogi troops at bay.
That formation is impossible to break through. This is a dungeon protected by the strongest stone army, and right now that army is sticking to organized retreat while defending the people. Yeah, incomprehensible. Oh. Oh, excuse me.
Retreat while defending the people.
Yeah, incomprehensible. I wouldn't dare to ask anyone to explain that. If I can't understand what's going on even after seeing it myself, then there's no way anyone can give me a coherent explanation. The enemy force is not acting, but there is a movement. That movement is sealing enemy forces from taking action. So the order wasn't wrong. The report was correct. Simply incomprehensible. The reason for this is simple. Something incomprehensible is taking place. This thing's like messed up. There we go. Okay, let's try to scoot in without.
Incomprehensible is taking place.
That's not helpful. They said that like 8 times.
The reason for this is simple. Something incomprehensible is taking place.
There we go.
Incomprehensible is taking place.
And that something... That is something that Dungeon Masters...
Monsters taking place.
And that is something that dungeon monsters are doing on their own. And there is nothing in the laws of the kingdom that prohibits monsters from attacking or fighting troops. Yeah, no problem at all.
Reporting. The representative is asking for a meeting. We already heard the gist of what is happening from them. Your orders?
Yeah, I will meet them. It's not like I can learn anything by watching this incomprehensible situation. Hearing an
incomprehensible situation.
Hearing an intelligible story would be much more beneficial. And as I was heading there, I saw the black-haired gang laughing while pointing their fingers at that strange scene. The comrades of that boy. They must have come here to assist him, but witnessing a bizarre sight that they didn't even imagine, they could not help but laugh. All of them must have instantly...
They could not help but laugh.
All of them must have instantly realized what was done, and by whom, the very moment they saw it, which brought them to that laughter. Then the boy must be all right. That's why they can laugh in such a way. Chapter 138 completed.
Day 49. Day.
And now I try to put one in here too.
Towering over a wasteland in a long morning on the way to Amoy. Steep mountain.
Okay. Oh, not very many mistakes. I don't need that. Add to the queue. Close. Chapter 139. Lonely attack on a different world. 139. Background noise. Lonely Attack on the Different World, web novel, chapter 139. Being too unprepared, I ended up getting scolded when I asked for serious advice. Day 48, morning, tunnel. Might as well clean this part up since I'm right here.
Day 40.
Really? There. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't really have to do this now, but...
Day 48. Morning. Tunnel.
And here's a good spot for another 1 second.
Morning. Tunnel.
Finally, the last... Oops. I forgot that there's the second pause now. I'll check if anyone's watching. Nope. That's fine. Oh, it's hot. Finally, the last group of refugees left at Amoy's side of the tunnel. Finally, the last group of refugees left at the Amoy. Left at the tunnel. Left from the tunnel? Or the last ones left at the tunnel? I don't... Whatever. Finally, the last group of refugees left at the Amoy's side of the tunnel. It's already morning outside, though. I don't remember when the last time I had a proper sleep was. On top of that, today I didn't even get to have private time with Armored Prez-san. Okay, let's ask her when we get back. Absolutely. Stone golems are covering our rear, so there's no need to worry about that. It's a heavily equipped phalanx with great shields, so there's no chance of a breakthrough. And I can still increase their numbers, so there's no way to get past them. While the stone golems were made with While the stone golems were made with Ring of Golem Maker and are controlled through commands, they are very real golems. Yeah, not even monsters, so they don't have cores. They are lifeless puppets, hence immortal, and lacking actual life, they also cannot be killed. If they have no orders, they will turn to simple stone statues. There is no possible damage. They are just stones, after all. It's just a horde of stone statues that can be infinitely produced as long as I have mana. The very idea of fighting them is idiotic. The stalker girl that completely calmed down by now is happily stuffing her cheeks with a steamed bun imitation of fruitcake. Apparently it's tasty-licious. I'm going to say this is... Oh, Hada Kakunya. Ooh.
Apparently it's tasty-licious.
Armored Prez-san, good job there. But are you sure?
Apparently it's tasty-licious.
Armored Prez-san, good job there. But are you sure that the guards are all right? Mainly in the physical sense? Armored Prez-san, good job there. But are you sure that the guards are all right, mainly in the physical sense? It's plainly obvious that mentally they are definitely not all right, but it seems that that's not a problem as long as they aren't hurt physically. Well, who cares? They are all middle-aged dudes anyway. I messed that up so bad.
It's plainly obvious that mentally they are... It's plainly obvious. Are you sure that the guards are all right, mainly in the physical sense?
It's plainly obvious that they are mentally are not...
Are you sure that the guards are all right, mainly in the physical sense?
It's plainly obvious that mentally they are definitely not all right, but it seems that it's not a problem as long as they are all right physically. Well, who cares? They are middle-aged dudes anyway. Armored Prez-san is nodding, so I guess they are okay. Means I won't get scolded by Mary Papa-san. Okay, I didn't attack the town, I didn't harm the troops, and I also didn't lay hands on the Lord. I absolutely did nothing wrong this time. No need to worry about false charges as well. See, I'm innocent. Why flat gaze? A crossfire of Armored Prez-san and Stalker Girl's flat gaze. And the barrage is by no means weak. This is a focused fire. I'm going to say this is probably Stalker. Oh. Stalker Girl Senpai.
Me, even though I'm trying to hide. Fire. This is a focused fire.
You didn't lay your hands on him? How about stepping, stomping, forcing him to faint, and then leaving him to lie on the ground? I think he was even leaking something. That Lord!
Stepping and stomping are both done by feet. There is no way I'd touch something that filthy with my hands. And it's not like I stepped on him because I wanted to. He was simply lying on the floor. I just stepped onto him when I tried to step on the floor. Oh my god, who's messaging? Don't care, dude.
It's not like I stepped on him because I wanted to. He was simply lying on the...
There it is.
It's not like I stepped on him because I wanted to. He was simply lying on the floor.
I just stepped onto him when I tried to step onto the floor. Nothing wrong on my part, right? There's always only one innocence. What? Obviously, there's a translator's note involved in this one because this doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, I don't know what that is, but...
Onto the floor. floor. Nothing wrong on my part, right?
There is always only one innocence. That was what what was Grandpa's name? What was Grandpa's name? It's always hard to read his because he's so fast.
Onto the floor.
I don't know why I
Nothing
made a
wrong on
voice
my
like
part,
that.
right?
There is always only one innocence. What was Grandpa's name again? Looks like false accusations were resolved. However, the flat gaze crossfire seems to be still continuing. Well, I just left that dirty orc fainted in the puddle of its own pee. I don't need it, and I don't want to even touch it. So I didn't lay hands on it. Why can't everyone understand that I didn't do anything wrong? Is that the affection rating issue after all? I can't think of any other reason, none at all. Meanwhile, this tunnel was made merely through a bit of remodeling. Getting attacked again from above would have been dangerous, so I added a roof. So I didn't use my ring of Dungeon Master, Dungeon Creation, Dungeon Control, so there is no danger of getting scolded for turning it into a dungeon. I didn't tell the troops of the neighboring domains, so they are free to kick up as much of a fuss as they want, unable to realize the difference. All I need is to keep them at a distance.
Fuss as they want. Fuss as they want. Unable to realize the difference.
All I need to do is keep them at distance, hence a dummy dungeon to keep them at bay. If I move too far away, the stone golems will turn into stone statues, so I will either have to seal them away behind walls, or implant magic stones and make monsters out of them. But this can wait until after we discuss this outside. After all, what comes after this is of no concern to me. That's Mary Papa-san's job. His aides must be working very hard right now. Keep it up. Now, the only... Whew. I feel like I made it super strong today. Now the question is, what will the kingdom do after losing its supply of magic stones? The frontier is inching ever closer to self-sufficiency in wheat, and since they also have potatoes, this is far more than just enough. As for salt, I secured a huge volume of it after stumbling upon a giant layer. I am having trouble today.
Far more than just enough. Far more than just enough.
As for salt, I secured a huge volume of it after stumbling upon a giant layer of rock salt in a cave, and there is also no signs of villager A's reserves of salt dwindling. Even metal is not an issue. There are enough discovered ore veins to make a mine, though all of them are neglected at the moment. The problem is sugar and cloth. Having a supply of livestock also hurts.
Problem is sugar and cloth.
Having a supply of livestock cut off also hurts, but none of this is urgent, so it should be fine for a while. If this becomes a real problem, I can just fly to purchase those myself. Between the two economies, the kingdom's economy should be the one to give out first. The kingdom has no other sources of magic stones, and yet they largely abandoned the region, denying them reinforcements, driving down the price of the magic stones, and coveting aid. Rather than not doing anything, they were actively exploiting this region, so it serves them right. No need to take steps to help them. The cliffs around the tunnel, but... The cliffs around the tunnel... I feel like I was breathing in still. The cliffs around the tunnel were also under remodeling. Those rocky mountains should become an indestructible wall surrounding the frontier, while the tunnel will become an impenetrable dungeon-style fortress gate. This will make for an impregnable. I don't know how I keep saying that. Oh yeah, keep the views rolling in.
Impenetrable dungeon-style fortress gate.
I don't even know where I am.
Impenetrable dungeon-style fortress gate.
This will make for an impregnable frontier fortress. The garrison is an immortal army of...
Impenetrable dungeon-style fortress gate.
This will make for an impregnable frontier.
Impenetrable dungeon-style fortress gate.
This will make for an impregnable frontier fortress. The garrison is an immortal army of stone golems, and if that is still not enough to hold back the enemy, I can use Ring of Dungeon Master to turn it into a real dungeon, and Ring of Golem Maker is the only way to defend the frontier with its few troops. Well, the control is difficult, so there is a limit to the fine manipulations, but since they are... Thought you were going to text me when you got there.
Frontier with its few troops.
Well, the control is still difficult.
Frontier with its few troops.
Well, the control is difficult, so there is a limit to fine manipulations, but since they are still capable of carrying out simple orders, a mass-produced, heavily equipped... Well, the control is difficult, so there is a limit to fine manipulations, but since they are still capable of carrying out simple orders, a mass-produced, heavily equipped phalanx is enough of a force to be reckoned with. That impossibility of precise control forces the use of outdated phalanx with shields for defense and a wall of spears. Well, if I add a castle at the exit, then it will be completely safe, secure, and serene. This should make things peaceful for a while. There is no peace in forever, so getting at least...
Safe, secure, and serene.
This... Voice cracked again.
Safe, secure, and serene.
This should make things peaceful for a while. There was no peace in forever. There was no peace in forever. There was no peace in forever. What does that even mean?
Safe, secure, and serene.
This should make things peaceful for a while. There was no peace in forever, so getting at least a bit of it is important. If the economy grows and the town develops in the meantime, it should reach prosperity. Prolonged isolation is also a problem, but that's not my problem. That's the job for the local lord, so don't blame me. Stalker girl.
That's not my problem. That's the job for the local lord, so don't blame me.
But wouldn't it be considered an attempt to break away or become independent from the kingdom? It might turn hostile.
After some talk, I found out that Stalker Girl was not a simple Stalker Girl who only knew how to stalk, but a clever Stalker Girl who was taught in the ways of war and economics for the sake of investigations. And on top of that, she is also the daughter of the clan of... chief of a clan.
For the sake of investigations.
And on top of that, she is also a daughter of the chief of clan of Stalkers. A very remarkable Stalker girl. By the way, at the moment she is munching on a fried potato. Apparently it's salty-licious.
Munching on a fried potato. Apparently it's salty-licious.
What? Break away? What is there? Oh, God.
Fried potato. Apparently it's salty-licious.
What? Break away? What is there to do if no one can pass the tunnel?
Fried potato. Apparently it's salty-licious.
What? Break away? What is there to do if no one can pass the tunnel? And if we have any business, we can go there on our own?
In the first place, if the kingdom wants to blame anyone, then they can start with themselves for allowing the neighboring town to do as they please for so long. In fact, the kingdom was taking hostile actions towards the frontier, so the frontier might as well really declare independence. If the kingdom doesn't want the frontier to declare independence, then they...
So the frontier might as well really declare independence.
If the kingdom doesn't want the frontier to declare independence, then they should conduct themselves accordingly. That's what's most important. Oh, man.
They should conduct themselves accordingly.
What's most important is that now the frontier cannot be threatened.
They should conduct themselves accordingly.
What's most important is that now the frontier cannot be threatened through food or force.
They should conduct themselves accordingly.
What's most important is that now the frontier cannot be threatened through force or food supply. Now they can finally negotiate with the kingdom on equal grounds. Now it's all in the hands of the local lord. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't touch anyone, so legally there should be no problem. So I'm properly innocent, okay? Whew.
So I'm properly innocent, okay?
At this point, the kingdom should have no advantages, so the negotiations should go all the way in the frontier's favor. Okay. Oh. Mm. And since the kingdom can't step into the frontier on their own, even having negotiations or not is entirely up to the frontier. Well, now the frontier surely must be probably okay? No idea, though. I mean, I'm not even a citizen. How would I know? I didn't even hear its name. Or did I? Mary, was it? Well, Mary Papa-san's aide will probably manage, I guess. Finally, outside. It's so bright. It's morning already? I lack both sleep and private time? The soldiers seem to be taking care of refugees, so that can be left to them. Ah, it looks like the president and the others are here as well. They are all waving their hands, so let's check on them. Well, and it also would be a pain to explain everything to Mary Papa-san if he finds me. It seems that there are some difficulties in communication with the people of this world. Do my words get properly translated? I can't help but doubt that. This is probably...
My words get properly translated. I can't help but doubt that.
Welcome back, Haruka-kun, Stalker Girl-chan. Thank goodness you're all right. Well, not like we were worried. We were pretty sure nothing will happen to you. Welcome home.
I'm back, I guess, and I also kind of abducted the stalker girl. Yeah, she was crying, about to have a pimple popped by an orc, so I sort of snatched her. Rather than that, I need advice. What do we do about breakfast? I don't have anything prepared, but I'm going for barbecue, right? But going for barbecue.
Rather than that, have a pimple popped by an orc, so I sort of snatched her?
Rather than that, I need serious advice. What do I do about breakfast? I don't have anything prepared, but going for barbecue right in the morning sounds like a bad idea.
You need serious advice on barbecue?
For some reason, they got mad at me after I earnestly explained the importance of breakfast. No, it's really important. A good breakfast is the first component of a healthy life. In the end, after discussing it with the geeks, I have made 2 master golems, is what I guess they should be called. Well, anyway, there are 2 of them. The master golem's duty is to control and manufacture stone golems. They barely have any combat strength or defense, but there is simply no way to cram it in there. I buried level 90 magic stones into the cliffs on the right and left sides, and turned them into golem masters by infusing them with my mana. So the cores cannot even be destroyed without excavation. For offensive abilities, they can shoot ice needles at those that climb the cliffs.
Destroyed without excavation.
For offensive abilities, they can shoot ice needles at those that climb the cliffs, and throw down boulders, which should be enough. Their main specializations are command, manufacture, and restoration. And since they can regenerate, one cannot even dig a tunnel here, so this should be plenty for defenses. Now, let's go back and sleep. A lot of adult sleeping. So much that we won't even get a wink of sleep. I'm going to sleep super hard, for real. Day 47 continues into day 48. I got all that trimmed up. I guess I can trim this a little bit more. I had more problems with that chapter than the last one. Web novels. What's going on over here? Oh, hello. Lonely attack on the new. 140. Ugh, not literally 140. I'm an idiot. Lonely attack on the different world. Delete 140. Chapter 140. Oh. Insert background noise. Lonely Attack on the Different World, web novel, chapter 140. It seems that the importance of effectively utilizing the limited time is not understood in this world. Oh, no, please, not there from at the end. What? Chapter 48? You mean day 48. That's an odd typo. Day 48, late morning, white weirdo inn. Okay. Now I can trim the start so I don't have to come back to it.
Lonely attack on the different.
Okay. Wait, yeah, that is right. Okay, good.
Day 48, late morning.
Okay. Haruka-kun said that he didn't get any sleep and immediately went to sleep in his room as soon as we got back to the inn. But we should not be tricked by that. Angelica-san went to bed with him. He has no intention of having a calm and peaceful rest. He is clearly raring to have a very intense rest. And it surely won't get him even an ounce of sleep, no matter how much time he spends in bed. Meanwhile, the poster girl and the stalker girl are hugging each other, rejoicing at their reunion. Where did I get situation?
No matter how much time he spends in bed.
Meanwhile, the poster girl and the stalker girl are hugging each other, rejoicing at their reunion. They are overjoyed. They were. Now that somebody's watching. Oh, wow. It's 1 o'clock here.
Rejoicing at their reunion, they are overjoyed.
They were convinced that they wouldn't ever see each other again. They are still so naive. There is no way that such a sad thing would be allowed to happen. Simply no way. It won't be accepted. It won't be approved. A certain someone is bound to reject it. And as proof of that, you got this happy reunion, didn't you? So naive. I don't know what happened on the other side of that dungeon tunnel, but he must have modified it so as to seal all of the misfortune and tragedies on the other side. It seems to be a fake dungeon, but that's more than enough. I don't have full confidence that even we can break through that. It's not that tough, but I have no confidence.
The only option is to blast away stone golems and rush through the tunnel, but Haruka-kun seems to have set up traps in his usual fashion, so I have no confidence that it will end well. After all, in its viciousness, the trap he set up. After all, in its viciousness, the trap he set up far surpasses what anyone could imagine. Voice crack. After all, in all its viciousness, the trap he set up far surpasses what one could imagine, and then goes even further beyond. I only caught a glimpse of it, but isn't drawing Tompe Lioil? What? Trompe l'oeil? Oh, to perceive. Okay. I've never heard of that. Trompe l'oeil. All right. Speaking of French. Trompe l'oeil. Oh, that's not right. No, please don't do that. Trompe l'oeil. I only caught a glimpse of it, but isn't drawing trompe l'oeil in a dimly lit tunnel simply inhuman? It's an abuse of trick art. Anyone would fall for that. After all, it doesn't register as a trap for detection purposes because it's art. And if one tries to dodge that. Oh, you know what I...
For detection purposes, because it's art.
Where was I? This huge paragraph.
For detection purposes, because it's art.
And if one tries to dodge it thinking it's a trap, that's where the actual trap awaits. Skills aren't enough to get past that. Trying to rush through the tunnel would only
Skills aren't enough to get past that.
Just trying to rush through the tunnel would only end up crashing into the wall and falling into a pitfall. Anyone who doesn't have space perception is bound to fall for this, regardless of how strong they are. And even more so are people of this world, since it would probably be their first encounter with trompe l'oeil. Trompe l'oeil. Trompe l'oeil. Even more so are people of this world, since it probably would be their first encounter with trompe l'oeil. A party level of 100 or higher with a rare skill It's just one of those days. A party of level 100 or higher with a rare skill A party of level 100 or higher with a rare skill space perception. Why am I having trouble with space perception? Saying space perception. Oh, it's a cat call. Space perception. Un momento, por favor. Just now. I thought you said you were like 2 minutes away 30 minutes ago. Must have taken you an hour to get there.
Would be their first encounter with trompe l'oeil.
A party of level 100 or higher with a rare skill, space perception, might be able to get through that, but even so, that last thing is impossible. Even knowing all that, I'm still not that confident. Okay, what is this a useful one? Oh, what trompe l'oeil is. Yes, I know what trompe l'oeil is now. I looked it up already.
Still not that confident.
Oda-kun and the others who were watching.
Still not that confident.
Oda-kun and the others who were watching from the outside while laughing and pointing fingers named it Sasuke Castle. That's the kind of thing it is. Sasuke. I'm pretty sure it's not Sasuke. It's Sasuke, I think. Not positive. I'm just going to go with yes.
That's the kind of thing it is.
On top of that, he turned the mountains on both sides into golems, took them under his control, and left them with Ring of Golem Maker, so they are going to spawn stone golems infinitely. Voice is cracking. I need more water, but my God.
That's the kind of thing it is.
On top of that, he turned the mountains on both sides into stone golems, and then took them under his control, and left them with Ring of Golem Maker, so they were going to spawn stone golems infinitely. And since they are tamed by Haruka-kun, they will keep receiving tremendous amounts of EXP and mana from him. The abilities of their master are affecting them. At this point, it might be easier to go full circle around the world, to go a full circle around the world.
The abilities of their master are affecting them.
At this point, it might be easier to go a full circle around the world and invade the place through the forest of demons on the opposite side of the domain, rather than going through that place. So, even though there is a passage, no one can pass through it. The only people that wouldn't get caught by such a twisted trap would be a people of character similar to that of Haruka-kun. Yeah, and since most likely there are no such people around, it's completely safe. After all, if there were such people, this world would have been screwed up a long time ago. There was a message from the Lord asking Haruka-kun to come once he wakes up, but he definitely won't. After all, he has to fall asleep first, and if what I'm reading is not an extremely aggressive sleeping posture, then there is no chance that... If what I'm reading... on her sense presence, I guess?
But he definitely won't.
After all, he has to fall asleep first, and if what I'm reading is not an extremely aggressive sleeping posture, then there are no chances of that happening yet. He is still too busy with her to get any actual sleep. The girls stopped bringing this up. How did I manage that? The girls stopped bringing this up entirely. Everyone already got Detect Presence to level max, and a few even unlocked some kind of advanced version of the skill. They can now get even more detailed information if they focus on a particular direction. I'm the one who actually lacks sleep. And everyone went to bed. After all, being curious, we also went all the way into the neighboring town to see how it goes, and we didn't get any sleep either, although we are actually going to go to sleep. I guess that works.
Although we are actually going to go to sleep.
After taking a nap, I went down to the dining room hall and found that there were a few people already awake and discussing. Did something happen? These, I believe, are the dudes, so I'm just going to give them duty voices.
Did something happen?
Okay, how about hanging a few ropes so as to swing on them and jump from one rope to the other, and after a few ropes there'd be a dummy that would just fall out.
Going back to the exit on a slide is way too humiliating. It's enough to break a spirit 3 times over.
Wouldn't that be enough then? Yeah, finding an exit among an exit of hidden doors.
I said that twice.
It's over. Wouldn't that be enough then?
Yeah, finding an exit among hidden doors and only dashing and...
It's over. Wouldn't that be enough then?
Yeah, finding an exit among hidden doors and dashing to it, only to find that it's a painting is cruel enough. That is sure to break the spirit at least once.
Yeah, those doors are evil. Some of them are simple paintings. Some are traps. How are you even supposed to tell the exit? Are you even supposed to exit that? It doesn't make any sense, so I'm going to leave it the way. It seems that everyone liked that fake dungeon, and they are now exchanging ideas for possible traps. Is that... I think that's Haruka-kun? I'm not really sure.
It seems
I'm going to just say probably. Who knows? Oh, it's already hot in the recording booth, and hot coffee is a poor decision.
ideas for possible traps.
Morning, but don't enter it. All of the equipment there is enchanted with weapon destruction, while the traps are loaded with corrosion or worse. So you will end up with all of your items destroyed, and it will be a huge waste. The girls especially shouldn't go there. Corrosion melts both armor and clothes. You might be unable to leave after that for a completely different reason.
That's the worst!
I mean, what did you expect? The worst kind of person designed that place, so of course it will end up like that. It will sap your spirit and until your soul breaks. Blech.
That place. So of course it will end up like that.
It will sap your spirit until your soul breaks. Any challenger is bound to have their personality changed by the time they leave it. Gaining distrust of humans is pretty much assured.
Personality changed by the time they leave it.
Gaining
Personality changed by the time they leave it.
Gaining distrust of humans is pretty much assured. I mean, just looking at it, I doubt that the creator is human. Even so, when a new person wakes up, they also join the conversation, followed by another and another, all discussing the traps together. It seems to be very popular, the birth of a super popular spot that no one wants to get near. It has plenty of attractions, but no visitors. All everyone wants is to see someone fall into the traps they thought of, or so it seems. But if they keep doing such bad things, they will turn into Haruka-kuns. Okay, so it was not Haruka.
Your spirit until your soul. It will sap your.
There it is. Morning.
The girls expect. Morning, but now exchanging ideas for possible traps.
Morning, but don't enter it. All of the equipment there is enchanted with weapon destruction, while the traps are loaded with corrosion or worse. So you will end up with all of your items destroyed, and it will be a huge waste. The girls especially shouldn't go there. Corrosion melts both armor and clothes. You might be unable to leave after that for a completely different reason.
Morning, but don't enter it. Worst. For a completely different. Both armor. You might be unable to leave after that for a completely different reason. It's the worst.
Morning, or rather evening, sort of awakening. Actually, I still want to sleep, but I want to eat even more. Haruka-kun finally woke up, but still seems to be sleepy. The reason is always the same, and there is always only one culprit, himself. I think this is president. I don't know, it never fucking...
Good morning, Haruka-kun. The Lord's aide was crying, asking to tell you that
they wanted you to come as soon as you wake up.
Good morning, Haruka-kun. The Lord's aide was crying, asking to tell you that they want you to come as soon as you wake up. He seems terribly exhausted.
Upon talking with the lord of this town, Amoy-sama, he turned out to be a nice old man, a benevolent ruler, beloved by his people. However, both the people and the troops seem to be worried about the lord. The reason seems to be in the fact that for generations, lords of this region fought to protect the people, and often ended up dying in the forest of demons, which somehow seems to be doing nothing about his excessive energy and willingness to press forward. And yet he is always lamenting that he can't protect everyone. That's the reason why people love him and worry about him. Yes, this is a good town, but his aides seem to be having a very hard time. Well, food comes first. It's decided. I mean, I'm hungry. I even have a menu decided already. After all, I found a tomato-like vegetable, so this calls for an amu rice with mysterious bird meat.
Kia! Amu rice! Amu rice! Amu rice! Amu rice! Amu rice!
I'm going to skip the keeps going. Oh, just a sec. Get me a text. Well, I asked you like 4 hours ago. Kind of useless to respond now. I ain't interested. Some kind of Amu rice chant began. What's with this excitement? But I'll join as well. After all, it's Amu rice! Amu rice! By the time the uproar woke everyone up, the plates with amu rice were being lined up on the table. All those that were still half asleep had their eyes wide open. Angelica-san, who saw amu rice for the first time, was looking at it with bewilderment. Angelica-san, who saw amu rice for the first time, was looking with bewilderment, but she will understand if she tries it herself. She will know the reason for this crazed, feverish chant.
Amu rice! Amu rice! Amu rice!
It's done. Help yourself. Bon appetit, I guess. Sort of.
Let's dig in!
The amu rice chant. Immediately. The amu rice chant immediately stopped, turning tranquil, quiet, as supreme beauty of silence enveloped the dining table. Ah, delicious. This is amu rice. It's too tasty. Everyone is devouring it. I might cry. After all, it's amu rice. So good. Filling their stomachs, everyone began basking in the aftertaste, and even Angelica-san, the poster girl Chan, and the stalker girl having expressions of bliss on their faces from having their first amu rice. But a lecture is still in order. After all, from what I've heard later, the stalker girl's life was hanging by a thread, or rather, the sword was literally only a hair's breadth away. It was really close. Haruka-kun made it at the... It was really close.
Haruka-kun made it at the very last moment, but it turns out he was buying tomatoes on the way. He spotted something tomato-like in a village on the way, and that's why it became so close. A lecture it is. No, I knew I'd make it in time. It's fine. I mean, if I can't fly there fast enough, I'll just jump there. If I jump, I'll make it in time. The pimples were all right. Since it was already decided that I'm going to jump, I have plenty of time to spare, tomato-like. The The lecture is in process, and the poster girl is extremely... The lecture in process, and the poster girl is extremely pissed, seriously angry. She is stomping and waving her hands in tears. Is it perhaps an angry dance? But it seems he jumped. He used the taboo magic of teleportation to make an entry. He needs a great sermon. After all, he avoided using it until now because it's dangerous. He sealed it since he isn't sure what's going to happen. A skill so dangerous he didn't resolve to use it even in the Great Dungeon. Even during the training, he only teleported 1 or 2 meters in the area with no obstacles while fully focused. And yet he leapt through space, passing all of the castle walls? Why does he keep taking risks like that? It seems that midway he realized that he can't make it in time without teleportation, and since he is going to teleport anyway, decided that he had plenty of time to stop and buy tomatoes. And he even dares to call this effective time management. Not even a hint of remorse. A great sermon it is. If he isn't going to repent, then let him have a taste of the poster girl's dance of fury. She is flapping in tears, a super-duper angry flapping dance. This dance of fury is telling how she was seriously worried about the stalker girl and Haruka-kun. You are the one to make her cry, so feel sorry for that. USA, what? A fusion of a reference to Takeshi's Castle, a game show from 86-99. The most extreme elimination challenge. Ninja Warrior. I've heard of that, but I've never seen it. Okay. Did I get all of this stuff up at the front? I believe I did.
White weirdo in. Haruka-kun.
Hell yeah, brother. Okay. Let me delete the unused stuff. Let me add it to the queue. And 141. Web novels, Lonely Attack. Chapter 141. I am going to go grab fluids so I can drink something other than this hot coffee, because this hot coffee was a terrible decision. I will be back in 1 second. Oh. Oh God. Oh God. All right, back in the studio. Let's see, where were we? I've got... Oh God, I didn't think of that. I can hear the bubbling. I shouldn't have opened a can of soda. Oh. Can you hear it over there? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong bar, no wonder I don't have Reaper open. I don't think you can hear it, so I think it's okay now. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see, what are we on? 141. Trying to catch up.
Lonely Attack on the Different World, web novel, chapter 141. Perhaps I should make flyers on recruitment of a honey trap.
No. Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
Day 48, nighttime, White Weirdo Inn. Who is even talking? I'm guessing it's the chicks? I have no idea. I'm just gonna go with chick voices, whatever. This one is so so hard to figure out who's talking.
Day 48. Day 48. Day 48. Nighttime, White Weirdo Inn. Nighttime, White Weirdo Inn.
According to the report, this person apparently slashes heaven and earth, puts down man-eating fiends, annihilates devils and demons. Lowly riffraff is but a dust to him. More like feigning ignorance, pretending like nothing in heaven and earth involves him, a loafer always rolling around. All he does is outrageous. I think that would be more accurate.
Isn't this pretty harsh? How can you say that a man that just beat the Great Dungeon is a loafer that does nothing, for real?
The only person that he puts those on is the Saintess chick? Great Saint chick?
Is a loafer that does nothing, for real.
As I remember, he made holes in the ceiling and floor, tricked the dungeon emperor, and made his way up through the trickery.
Tricked? What a terrible thing to say. I did nothing of the sort. I only tamed her a little bit, seriously. The report that went to the capital said that it was a giant of a man with kind eyes. Just who could have seen such a thing? Maybe they misheard it. Maybe it was a giant pain in the arse with lewd eyes. Probably. Or maybe a lewd man with sharp eyes. There was that time when he made a very...
Probably.
Oh,
Probably.
Or maybe a lewd man with sharp eyes. There was that time when he made a very scary look, and it turned into a bit of an incident, so it must be that. Why is everyone trying so hard to completely cut down the kind eyes part? Some people already started crying because of that, namely me. Also, the frontier has a rumor of a black magician going around. Who also seems to be called the Croquet Missionary? Croquette? Who also seems to be called the Croquette Missionary? After reading so much, we finally found something that's actually true. The Croquette Missionary is a real thing. Wait a moment. So Haruka-kun was the black magician from the emblem of the stall of croquettes of the Black Mantle Crest? I heard that one. It's like there was a poor village which was saved by a great wizard in a black mantle that suddenly appeared there. Old man at that stall was crying telling that story. At the village, they seemed to be praying to the Black Wizard every morning and evening. I doubt there would be any help from that, though. Yeah, that person is more in the calamity department, either being related or directly causing them. Yeah, that person is more in the calamity department, either being related or directly causing them. But you know that worship might actually spook misfortune, causing it to stay away. We should be examining the info gathered by Stalker Girl's clan, but for some reason, to me, it seems like a bad-mouthing contest. They should be going through the reports, not through their list of insults. Through a dungeon into the depths of terror with one glance. That sounds quite close to the truth. Wasn't the dungeon emperor shivering in tears? She even said that was probably the scariest she felt in her entire life. They almost got it right. Okay, that dungeon emperor is in for a good punishment tonight. Oh, how I am going to punish her with this, and also with that. I'm going to punish every inch of her body from head to toe, and I'm going to do my best. Stalker Girl's report continued, and my mind continued to take damage. Apparently, Stalker Girl's clan was originally meant to act as intelligence agents for the frontier, but when the neighboring town turned against the frontier, with their base located in the neighboring domain, they ended up with their families basically taken hostage, and before anyone knew, turned into spies working against Amoy. That seems to be the reason why, in the end, in what can be seen as open revolt, they moved as a whole clan and prompted the citizens to evacuate to the frontier. For the whole clan to get so desperate is just idiotic. But, well, since Mary Papa-san scolded them pretty hard, I guess it's fine. Okay. I don't know if I can do her doing his voice, but we'll see.
They asked Lord Amoy to... Where is there a fault in protecting your family or clan?
I guess I could do it.
I guess it's fine.
They asked Lord Amoy to send them to die on the front lines for betraying Amoy, and got lambasted incredibly hard for that. Where is there a fault in protecting your family or clan? If this is a crime, then all of the frontier are criminals. Rather, were you to come to the frontier's rescue, abandoning your family and close ones, I would have cut you down myself. In the frontier, you should have pride in managing to protect your family, is what he shouted at them. Not only did he not call them traitors, he praised them for doing well, and even asked them to serve Amoy himself. They told me crying.
I think I got a little overboard with his voice and her voice, but whatever.
Call them traitors. He praised them for doing well.
And even asked them to serve Amoy himself. They told me while crying.
Stalker Girl was also in tears just from talking about that, so they must have been really happy to hear that. However, who is that Lord Amoy they keep talking about? I don't ever recall meeting a person talking in such a fine way, so it must be someone I'm not familiar with.
But now there is surely no need to worry about any assassins being sent after Haruka-kun. There is no way they can find or get close to him with such info.
Oh, no. It is not her.
It must be someone I'm not familiar with.
But now there is surely no need to worry about any assassins being sent after Haruka-kun. There is no way they can find or get close to him with such info. Yeah, unless he wanders around in a black mantle with croquettes in his hands, no one will recognize that it's him. That point about his kind eyes alone makes any attempt to find him impossible.
Yeah, and with the other reports are even... all these random chick voices.
Kind eyes alone makes any attempt to find him impossible.
Yeah, and the other reports are even worse. Black armor, or giant sword, or long blonde hair and almond eyes, or silent and all covered in scars, or a man with a thoughtful gaze or whatever, are all just completely off.
But, assassins don't often attack at night when the person is asleep.
But, don't.
Thoughtful gaze or whatever are all just completely off.
But,
Oh, God.
Thoughtful gaze or whatever are all just completely off.
But, don't assassins often attack at night when the person is asleep? Imagine how much danger assassins will end up in if they intrude into the room where Angelica-san and Haruka-kun are together at night. It's risky in a lot of ways.
How rude. But if it's a beautiful female agent... Get some water.
Together at
Wow, look at that pop.
night. And Haruka-kun are together at night.
There we
It's
go.
risky in a lot of ways. Together at night. It's risky in a lot of ways.
How rude. But if it's a beautiful female agent, then I'm fine with being targeted. Let's put a guide board outside the inn. I also love honey traps from beautiful female agents. Never tried one, though, but perhaps I should also make flyers on the recruitment of a honey trap. Even more side work, huh?
Also, this is still unconfirmed, but there is information that the royal family wants to obtain the treasures and equipment of the dungeon master.
Blech.
But there is information. But there is information that the royal family wants to obtain the treasures and equipment of the dungeon master of the Great Dungeon, so there might also be a threat from thieves.
Can thieves steal from Armored Prez-san? Treasures and equipment of the Dungeon Emperor? That's just her, the entire person? And she herself is the strongest and scariest crime prevention device? An absolutely invincible trap. Oof.
And that's just her, the entire person?
Oh, go away.
That's just her, the entire person.
And she herself is the strongest and scariest crime prevention device? An absolutely invincible trap. I'm pretty sure beating a dungeon would be a lot faster, and what's more important, easier than stealing her? For real. And somewhat unrelated to this, there are also reports that first-rate adventurers and skilled mercenaries are heading over here. It is not clear if they're heading for the frontier, but there were numerous messages of them moving this way. Challengers for that fake dungeon. They're going to enter that place completely oblivious. I feel sorry for them.
But should they... Oops, that was my voice.
Oblivious. I feel sorry for them.
But should they do better that should they?
But they should.
Oblivious. I feel sorry for them.
But they should do better than regular troops. They might reach pretty far. They might even set a new record. I don't think they'll be too thrilled if all their hardship results in only a new record. Since they can't get through it, they're already pitiful, and they will probably lose all their equipment as well. Poor guys. I think destroying equipment instead of killing should be more effective. After all, one cannot fight without items, and if they come back alive, they will spread word that the dungeon is destroying equipment, and if people hear about that, they will probably not want to enter. And if someone commissions to go there anyway, the payment for such a request would include...
I am having all sorts of trouble today.
They will probably not want to enter.
And if someone commissions to go there anyway, the payment for such a request would include the price for high-grade weapons and armor, so the client would soon go bankrupt. I also refuse...
So the client would soon go bankrupt.
I also received a few papers with the ideas for the fake dungeon. One of them was filled with nothing.
I'm not even tired anymore. Why am I having so much trouble reading?
So the client would soon go bankrupt.
I also received a few papers with ideas for the fake dungeon. One of them was filled with nothing but lewd traps, probably written by the geeks. Let's discuss it with them later. A sticky trap and then a corrosion attack followed by a tentacle monster. Genius! This is worth discussing. Well, that aside, if I also change the traps from time to time, everyone will probably get fed up and will eventually give up. And probably lose all of their weapons as well. I wonder where tentacle monsters live. If no one comes, we can focus on the internal affairs in the meantime. While things are peaceful here, we can proceed with dungeon exploration and economic development. People won't just multiply overnight, but since citizens of the neighboring town already came here, and we have plenty of magic stones, the industry should soon develop. Until now, the poverty and labor shortage prevented even commercialization. But now that things...
Typo.
Until now, we have plenty of magic stones, and the industry should soon develop.
Until now, the poverty and labor shortage prevented even...
Plenty of magic stones, the industry.
Something's wrong with this. There we
We
go.
have plenty of magic stones, the industry should soon develop.
Until now, the poverty and labor shortage prevented even commercialization. But now that things are safe and the situation is good, the division of labor and specialization should advance on its own. And if it goes too slowly, I can make adjustments and...
We have plenty of magic stones, the industry should soon develop.
Until now, the poverty and labor shortage prevented even commercialization. But now that things are safe and the situation is good, the division of labor and specialization should advance on its own. And if it goes too slow, I can just make and distribute magic tools for industrial use. If that makes goods and money go around, then the town and surrounding villages will do all right. That's why from tomorrow we are back to dungeon exploration. They are a safety risk and an obstacle to development. Plus, there is a possibility of finding other artifacts like Ring of Gollum Maker. And I'm sure my affection rating affection rater.
Artifacts like Ring of Gollum Maker.
And I'm sure my affection rating is probably hiding somewhere there as well. There is no way it won't be found anywhere, right? Seriously? Then we kept exchanging information on dungeons currently in the progress of exploration until late at night. Discussions of possible party compositions and plans for the Union. In the end, it seems the only dead dungeon is the one that the board members and I went through. Everyone else is currently struggling near the 40th floor. Well, making it through with only one party is pretty difficult. Additionally, strengths and weaknesses, likes and dislikes, and compatibility also seem to be huge factors. The discussions of formations and capture order continued into the night, so I served everyone French fries with ketchup and got scolded. How cruel you are to offer girls fried potatoes before sleep! Is what they were saying... Oh.
Girls fried potatoes before sleep.
That is what they were saying while eating all of it. How is that my fault? Since it got pretty late, we decided to stop for today and leave for our rooms. Nice time for some side work, and also a second battle. Time for a showdown. I also want to take a bath, so we are locked in naked wrestling in the room. For my strategy, I decided to go with repeatedly thrusting. For my strategy, I decided to go with repeatedly thrusting at high speed like a woodpecker. A decisive battle, the ecstasy of red and black. Okay. And that's good. And add it to the queue. Render queue, I mean. Chapter 142. Oh, God. I feel like reading, like, as much as I love reading the ones that I have, I really want to just, like, read a couple of FFF class trash hero because it's so funny, but I gotta focus. Gotta get caught up on all of the stuff I'm doing first. Okay. Oh no, wrong button. Background noise. Lonely Attack on the Different World, web novel, chapter 142. Abusive and unethical work environment of my self-employment is forever exploitative. Oh God, somebody's messaging me. I got tagged in something. Where was I?
Okay. Kill that. That. Got that already. Day 48. Nighttime. White Weirdo Inn. Side job in the process. Once again, there is a working workaholic neat. At the moment, I'm strengthening Shield Girl's shield with Mithril. Actually, aside from Shield Girl, every other board member asked for custom-made clothes. Is it all right to be so complacent in the world where you have to fight monsters through sword and magic? And who the hell ordered a combat dress? Ah, it's the small animal. Let's ignore it then. She's too tiny, so it's just impossible to make anything sexy for her. And how is it supposed to protect with that much skin exposure? So let me go ahead and, since I had to stop there, do that part. Okay. Exposure. And how is it supposed to protect her with that much skin exposure? Did she even consider protection? Rejected. And then I proceeded with the proceed. Uh-oh. Oh, I just either sneeze or stop. I made the mistake of going outside today. I must have some sort of allergies. Don't have any tissues, though. Oh, it seems to be going away. Ooh, wow. Oh. And and then I proceeded with the creation of magic stone batteries and accumulators, and their charging, or rather mana infusion. A new discovery, a new product, undoubtedly a commercially successful item. Preserving magic power to use when it is necessary, a perfect countermeasure for running out of mana. It goes without saying that the rearguard would be interested, but everyone else also uses mana for enhancement, so it will undoubtedly sell. I'm going to be rich. In fact, running out of mana is I gotta go blow my nose. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. How's that doing? In fact, running out of mana and then going back for rest. That's one of the reasons. In fact, running out of mana and then going back for rest was one of the reasons why the progress of exploration was so slow. Being able to store mana should allow... Shoulda. Being able to store mana should allow fighting safer and longer. This should be distributed as fast as possible. The mechanism is simple, apparently, lining up numerous magic stone
allows for the circulation of magic power to be contained in them, invigorating it. Using that principle, magic stones can be arranged and combined to create battery cells and accumulators. The principle was described in How-To Magic Tools, but since the people of this world lacked knowledge of accumulators or batteries, it was not put to practical use. In short, it's a mana bank. Having a battery where MP can be saved should allow for people to avoid running out of mana, as well as using normally impossible heavy mana-consuming techniques. Everyone needs them. It should sell. It should bring profit. But because the connection method and quality of the magic stones impacts the efficiency, I now have to do all of it manually while probing and verifying various points. Without the proper know-how, I can't proceed to mass production. Maybe there is a second volume of How-To Magic Tools somewhere? It's most likely banned, though. Maybe there is some kind of book written by an ancient scholar? For starters, a set for everyone. I don't need one. Yeah, I had no idea, but it turns out I already had one. Or rather, I was using it. The method of creation. The method of creating magic stone accumulators and magic stone batteries requires arranging numerous magic stones and pouring mana through them. And I have a whole mountain of high-quality magic stones just lying in my item bag. An item bag is constantly absorbing the magic power of its user and pouring it inside. In other words, it turned into a super enormous starting to mispronounce like everything already. And pouring it inside. What? In other words, it turned into a super enormous accumulator, which explains why I seem to have almost bottomless reserves of mana, no matter how much I use of it. As well as for the rapid growth of MP recovery, I was repeating the circle of accumulating mana and using it and then accumulating it again, all the time without my knowledge. And when I was running low on mana, I was absorbing it from the battery inside of my item bag. That's why MP recovery evolved. That's why MP recovery evolved into MP absorption. I had no idea until I read How-To Magic Tools. As expected, books are essential. I should summon a courier. And since I now have mana absorption skill, I guess I'm now constantly absorbing mana from my surroundings and charging the accumulator with it. I mean, I had enough mana to remodel mountains stretching for a great length. Thinking for a bit, it should have taken an insane amount of mana, but I didn't notice anyway. So, late into the night, I'm busy sneakily working. Armored Prez-san is in a knocked-out state, sleeping. Long white legs of divine beauty are peeking out of the blanket, exposing even the most captivating and alluring pure white thighs. But it's a trap, huh? Exposing even the most captivating? That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Let me back it up to here. Late into the night, I'm busy sneakily working. Armored Prez-san is in a knocked-out state, sleeping. Long white legs of divine beauty are peeking out of the blanket, exposing even the most captivating and alluring pure white thighs. But is it... Armored Prez-san is in a... Armored Prez-san is in a knocked-out state, sleeping. Long white legs of divine beauty are peeking out of the blanket, exposing even the most captivating and alluring pure white thighs. But that is a trap. Most definitely a trap. Many and many and many times I got caught into that trap and had a terrible time. It's a trap meant to have me endure a scolding in the morning without getting a speck of sleep, for real. That's Haruka-kun, obviously.
Without getting a speck of sleep, for real.
I'd like to go back to the cave to work on a sauce workshop. I haven't even began working on poultry, with the whole idea of verging on the brink of collapse. And, what? I'd like to go back to the cave and make a sauce workshop, and I still haven't even began working on poultry, with the whole idea on the brink of collapse, and the garden was just left as it is after creating it. And I also want to enjoy some bubble play in the jacuzzi. I have my own tone. I don't want to say there. Okay. Okay.
Without getting a speck of sleep, for real.
I'd
Without getting a speck of sleep, for real.
I'd like to go back to the cave to make a...
Without getting a speck of sleep, for real.
I'd like to go back to the cave to make a...
Without getting a speck of sleep, for real.
I'd like to go back to the cave to make a sauce workshop, and I still haven't even began to work on a poultry, with the whole idea verging on the brink of collapse, and the garden was just left as it is after creating it. And I also want to enjoy some bubble play in the jacuzzi. I do have my own home. Why don't I get to stay there? The stable supply of eggs and bird meat is urgent business, both for Amu rice and Oyakodon. Oyakodon.
Why don't I get to stay there?
The stable supply of eggs and bird meat is urgent business, both for Amu rice and for Oyakodon. I want nori. It's not really nori, it's nori. I like how I said the R.
Both for Amu rice and for Oyakodon.
I want nori, and we also lack katsuboshi, green laver. Laver? Green laver? Laver? What is laver? Green laver? I've never heard of that. Is green laver a thing? Green laver. Oh, it's a type of seaweed. Oh. Aonori. Okay, I've heard of that. I've never heard of it called green laver. Okay.
Both for Amu rice and for Oyakodon.
I want nori, and we also lack katsuboshi, green laver, and simple marine products. I don't see... Just a second, there's an airplane. Small regional airport next to me. You get these little propeller airplanes.
Both for Amu rice and for Oyakodon.
I want nori, and we also lack katsuboshi green.
Both for Amu rice and for Oyakodon.
I want nori, and we also lack katsuboshi, green laver, and simple marine products. I don't see us getting to the sea anytime soon, then inland. Right, corn. Even though I served Amu rice, I couldn't add pottage to it. Let's search for corn. We already have onion and spring onion, so what's left is butter, I guess. I'd also like cheese. Agriculture demands innovations, and it is also urgent. I am not even a part of the fief population, so why do I have to reform agriculture? What kind of side job is that?
Agriculture. What kind of
Grumbling, I stick to the work. Is it the effects of Loner, Hikikomori, and Neat that allow me to stealthily act at night without sleeping? No, I want to sleep anyway, but there is still work left. Perpetual, abusive self-employment. During today's meeting, I understood the issues of each party, so I'd like to make out
Perpetual abusive self-employment.
During today's meeting, I understood the issues of each party, so I'd like to make items to counter them. Slow.
Perpetual abusive self-employment.
During today's meeting, I understood the issues of each party, so I'd like to make items to counter them. So sleepy. When I'm done, the geeks will get their share of the special rip-off price. After all, right now they're sleeping happily. Let's rip them off. Absolutely. For starters, I made 60 mana accumulators, and specifically for the rear guard, 90 mana.
Absolutely.
For starters, I made 60 mana accumulators, and specifically for the rear guard, 90 mana batteries. So I will be able to start selling them from the morning. With this, I will be a rich man when everyone wakes up. The problem is that the girls went bankrupt buying clothes and don't have any money. And they are already in debt from buying rings yesterday. If I make mana accumulators in the form of bracelets they will sell. They will probably end up resembling praying beads, but if I combined various colors nicely, they should sell. With this, the girls are bound to sink even further into debt. They should suffer the same poverty that I do. And for some reason, I have tons of requests for custom-made clothes, even though they have no money. But all they have is design and color, no mentions of sizes and dimensions at all. And am I supposed to take measurements? They won't make a pattern paper or something themselves? Do they want to make a healthy high school boy take the high school girl's measurements? But I want to make Vice President Asan's order, which is a long, tight leather skirt with a slit. So much that I'd like to go and take measurements right now. Next time, let's make it for Armored Prez-san. I'll strip her immediately after she puts it on, but I want her to try it on anyway. Rather, she should wear it precisely so that I can take it off. No, I'm fine with going at it after... he rambles so much. I don't have time to breathe. No, I'm fine with going at it even without stripping, seriously. Should I upgrade Armored Prez-san's armor and my, armor? So, I think that's about where it should be. No, because I started recording it and it sounds different. Should I also upgrade Armored Prez-san's and my equipment with Mithril as well? The items are already cheat grade, so I don't think it will boost their performance any further, so I guess it's fine to leave it for later. But Armored Prez-san's Mantle of Storage is shabby, so let's add Mithril to it. Yeah, but in that case, I will also have to disassemble all of my equipment and upgrade it as well. The staff has Spatial Staff, Magic Katana, Heavenly Sword of Gathering Clouds, which won't benefit from this whatsoever. Sorry. It's a divine sword after all, and then even Elder Trent Kane. The mantle got Invisibility Cloak, Cloak of Magic Reflection, and Cloak of Evasion, and then boots with Boots of Acceleration, Enduring Greaves, There's no and? There's ends on everything else!
The mantle got then even Elder Trent Kane.
The mantle got invisibility cloak, cloak of magic reflection, and cloak of evasion. And the boots with... And then the boots with...
And then even Elder Trent came.
The mantle got invisibility cloak, cloak of magic reflection, and cloak of evasion. And then the boots with... Boots of acceleration, enduring greaves, sticky boots. And sticky boots!
And then the boots with...
Boots of acceleration, enduring greaves, and sticky boots. The gloves, gauntlet of contradiction, and magician's gloves. And what is going on with the rings? Trap ring, demon ring, fairy ring, and ring of golem maker. What I left with the master golems. That I left with...
What I left with demon ring, fairy ring, and ring of golem maker.
That I left with golem master golems.
Demon ring, fairy ring, and ring of golem maker.
That I left with master golems, plus still unused ring of dungeon master. Ah, there are clothes as well. Garb of Herculean strength. Seems like it could be.
Ring of golem maker that I left with master golems. Plus still unused ring of dungeon master.
Ah, there are clothes as well. Garb of Herculean strength. Seems like it could be upgraded. And black hat too. But like hell I can do it all in one night. It's an excessively heavy workload. A side job with an excessively heavy workload? Is there no end to my self-exploitation? Even though it's just a side job, how does a side job on a self-employment end up as an exploitative enterprise? I don't even get who is exploiting who when all I do is work alone at home by myself. And...
Alone at home by myself.
And...
Alone at home by myself.
And I also got a lot of additional orders from the general store. I have to hurry up and develop the town already, or I will end up supporting the whole town economy with my night work. I'm so sleepy. Our naked battle dragged out for longer than I expected. I didn't even get to carry out my woodpecker strategy. After continuously... After continuously going up and down, the Dungeon Emperor ended up sinking. After continuously going up and down. After continuously going up and down, the Dungeon Emperor ended up going down and sinking into the bed. But without the side job, there won't be any money for me. And there are tons of orders. Isn't it weird for the entire town's economy to be relying on my little cottage industry? There is just no end in sight, even though white thighs are inviting me. Ah, this one is marked with urgent. Wait, isn't the general store shopkeeper writing urgent on everything? And what the hell is that? Rice with mushrooms for 3 people ASAP? That's just your meal, isn't it? Am I a restaurant or something? Ah, I have to leave for a dungeon in the morning. On and on I kept molding and manufacturing merchandise, flying through the air, with one process linked into another like some sort of conveyor, putting the finished product into the storage. But there's no end to it, not even a sign of it. Order forms are still just as numerous. Their number didn't just go over the limit, it spiraled through the roof, turning into a drill, piercing the heavens. This is just too much.
Piercing the heavens. This is just too much.
Enough! I can't take this anymore. Limit break. Onward to round 3, to the bed. I shall become the woodpecker.
third round in the process cannot be shown. I got scolded the very first thing in the morning. Day 48, over. Currently getting scoldings on day 49. Let's see. Chapter 142. Add to queue and close. No new files. Actually, where would this be? They have it under L, I think. What? Oh, it's because I don't have the whole thing shown. Oh, it's maybe it's under T then. Okay. I hate that. I just want to see how many chapters they have open. Okay, this isn't. Oh, there we go. 56. What are? Oh, these what the characters are supposed to look like? That's. I should have just done novel updates. $59. Oh man, I've still got a lot of chapters. Okay. Web novels, Lonely Attack on the Different World, chapter 143. Nope. Add in background noise. Lonely Attack on the Different World, web novel, chapter 143. I thought they were classmates summoned with me, but it turns out, no.
Lonely.
Ooh, that is right on the cusp, isn't it?
I thought they were classmates summoned with me, but it turns out, no. No.
Day 49, morning, White Weirdo Inn. Putting aside whether a morning or cottage industry worker starts out early or not, I have a morning fair open first thing in the morning. What? Oh, I see what he's trying to say. Like a farmer's market or something.
Fair open first thing in the morning.
Here is today's featured product, a Mana Accumulator bracelet for sale. First come, first served. It's a limited edition item with only 60 available. Struggle, fight for them, kind of. A hellish picture of girls' frenzied madness, capable of scaring away all the morning freshness. If they approached a dungeon If they approached dungeon exploration with the same terrifying drive, they would have already killed all of them. Also, it seems there is no wardrobe malfunction to be as what? Why would there, what is he even talking about? Wardrobe malfunction. What does he think they're gonna fight and like expose titties or something? I don't understand.
Capable of scaring away all the morning freshness.
If they approached dungeon exploration with the same terrifying drive, they would have already killed all of them. Also, it seems there is no wardrobe malfunction to be expected. The backline girls that usually would be pushed back by the frontliners are completely different today. Excuse me. Almost excuse me. I don't know.
Are completely different today.
After all, these are not some healing stones of unknown effect, but mana.
What is it, man?
After all, these are not some healing stones of unknown effect, but mana stones of certain effectiveness. And not just any stones, but magic stones. There are two types. The first one is a power stone bracelet, somewhat large magic stones linked together, excelling at high power output, which should be very effective during one battle, but I guess most suited to frontliners. But the one I'd recommend is the 5 wrap, like wraps 5 times.
But I guess most suited to frontliners.
But the one I'd recommend is a 5 wrap bracelet, which has great performance. Instead of blowing a lot of energy each time, it slowly consumes the charge with high efficiency, a very practical item. The design is a straight-up rip-off, but I don't think Lu-san will notice what I'm doing since in this... I am going to just hit that because I know it's there.
Instead of rip-off, but I don't...
So, right over.
The design, efficiency, a very practical item.
The design is a straight-up rip-off, but I don't think Lu-san will notice what I'm doing in this world. If she does, I'll apologize. So, Lu-san? I don't know what this means. Chan Lu, the creator of the iconic wrap bracelet. Wrap bracelet. No, not shopping. Well, I guess that worked. Oh, okay. I've never seen those before, but sure. That's... I actually wanted to do this. Yeah, I've still never seen those before, but okay. How would I implement... Oops.
The design is a straight-up rip-off, but I don't think Lu-san will notice what I'm doing in this world. If she does, I'll apologize. A very practical item.
The design is a straight-up rip-off, but I don't think the creator on Earth, Lu-san, will notice what I'm doing in this world. If she does, I'll apologize. But I'm yet to receive angry letters from the Shinto Muso Ryu branch in this world, and since I blocked the passage with the fake dungeon, it should still be alright for a while. It will take some time for Lu-san's branch store of this... It will take... It will take some time for Lu-san's branch store of this world to become aware of this.
Don't touch it! I'm going to buy it! No, it's mine! It's a fated meeting! I'll buy this one too! Let the backliners have it! You're a vanguard, and we are even in the same party! Cooperate with boosting the rearguard's firepower! Frontliners mean...
No, it's the same person, probably. Welcome back.
Mr. Lugo 007 PS4 007. Where am I?
Operate with boosting the rear guard's firepower.
Frontliners need mana too, and there's only one bracelet with this design, so it's mine. I wanted to have this since a long time ago. It's a knockoff, though.
It's a knockoff, though.
That's all your limited quantity is to blame. That's not enough. I only got 2 bracelets. Make more and scale up the ring production.
Am I going to have even more work pushed on me? Or rather, with 2 bracelets per person, wouldn't it usually be more than enough? Just how many arms do you have? And also rings. Why did they end up completely sold out? Didn't the danger of getting hit with debuffs pass for a while? I even wrote in the fake dungeon that no one should come. I also added a warning right above the entrance that anyone who enters this gate should abandon all hopes, dreams, and friendships, so it should be fine. That dungeon can melt clothes, so it's a danger to intersex friendship, you know, seriously.
Intersex friendship, you know, seriously.
Haruka-kun, there is no purple. If you have a 5-wrap bracelet with a combination of purple and red, then give it to me. If you won't, then make it.
If you won't, don't you mean if you don't? I think that's a typo.
If you want purple and red, then give it to me.
If you don't, then make it, for goodness' sake.
Why are they getting so full of themselves, despite buying all of this on credit? Are we in a buyer's market situation, despite the obvious scarcity of goods? Is this, again, an affection rating issue? Without sufficient...
Again, an affection rating issue.
Without sufficient affection rating, even market principles are going to be ignored. I mean, I'm getting shouted at just for having no purple and red combination. A combination of purple, red, and blue won't do. Don't you feel bad for Blue-san? Don't you feel bad for me? I'm quite serious. In the end, on top of selling all 60 pieces, I got requests for 20 custom bracelets. Isn't it strange? Aren't those numbers just weird? The geeks and the idiots didn't even buy anything. They're all just sitting along the wall, completely burned out. Well, whatever. On top of that, all 50 rings with abnormal status resistance that I made after requests from the previous time sold out as well. Just how many debuffs do they want to catch?
Just how many debuffs do they want to catch?
It's not a problem since I made a profit from that, but I received only a bit of currency. I'm working all the time, yet can't break out of poverty. Has anyone ever seen such a super...
All the time, yet can't break out of poverty.
Has anyone ever seen such a super hard-working NEET? Death March isn't just the beginning here. It's still... Isn't just the beginning here? Death March isn't just the beginning here. It's still going non-stop in present continue. Isn't just beginning? Why would you say the beginning? That doesn't make any sense. Just the one word screws up that whole sentence.
All the time, yet can't break out of poverty.
Has anyone ever seen such a hard-working NEET? Death March isn't just beginning here. It's also going non-stop in the present continuous. Looks like there's no saving in this world. Now, let's go to the dungeon. Recently, I'm beginning to feel like the place where I can relax the most are the dungeons. Just why is that? I'm even beginning to consider seriously settling down in a dungeon for the sake of peace and quiet. But I'm yet to find an excellent dungeon. But I'm yet to find an excellent dungeon lot that has both satisfactory room arrangement and a good environment. And the dungeon we are about to explore today can be called the worst possible dungeon lot. After all, every single monster is an insect type. I absolutely refuse to live in a place swarming with bugs. Dropping by the general store to deliver the goods, I also gave them 3 portions of rice with mushrooms, following it by slapping the shopkeeper on the head with a paper fan. I'm insanely busy, yet I ended up cooking rice and even making a paper fan. Good grief. And after being done with buying, selling, and bartering, I left for the dungeon. Oh, what a gloom! My enemies are insects and my allies are idiots. This is depressing. Let's just kill them. And since I lent out Armored Prez sonnets, nothing but dudes here. This is just one of the dudes, I guess. I should make the idiots sound like this. The girls pushed this dungeon onto us. No. The girls, like Bone Man, the girls pushed this dungeon onto us. I'm gonna get it come out the nose. The girls pushed this dungeon onto us because they didn't want to deal with the bugs, and chasing after the bugs to kill them in melee eats a ton of time. They're flying, running, and there are hordes of them. Yeah, the affinity is the worst. After all, they are dumb idiots, specializing solely in close combat with pretty much no ranged attacks. On top of this, they are most suited for dealing with humans, large monsters, and beasts. On the other hand, they are weak against insects, ghost types, and magic-type enemies that prefer to keep their distance. Or, rather, they simply need a lot of time to kill enemies in such an unfavorable matchup. And in addition, since they don't learn, they end up chasing after bugs every time. Bugs that keep running away appear to be more intelligent than them. For starters, we begin from floor 39 with Paralyze Moth. For starters, we begin from floor 39 with Paralyze Moth level 39. Moths with paralysis attacks. I already pushed rings with resistances onto them, and yet they keep struggling here because moths keep escaping by flying. And yet today again they showed up carrying swords and spears. Even first graders would have prepared butterfly nets or something. Even first graders would have prepared butterfly nets or something. Why are you coming here with swords right after saying that they didn't really work? Why are bugs smarter than you? Why doesn't the idea of preparing tools or learning magic even cross your minds? Oh, there was such a Damn it. Oh, there was such a secret trick. I can't do this. They really are idiots. How is it a secret trick to use an insect net to catch insects? And all 5 went, oh. Hearing that, they even added an exclamation mark. They really didn't think of it. It's not that it didn't occur to them, they didn't even try to think at all. Using suspicious grass that the shopkeeper recommended to me, I fumigate the place. For bugs, this is how heavily recommended the item is. Buying all of it and then placed a bulk order for more. Is how heavily recommended the item is. Buying all of it and then I placed. Oh, goddamn. Buying all of it, I then placed a bulk order for more. And Paralyze Moth, level 39, are dropping like flies. Your dungeon monsters don't die instantly from an insecticide herb sold at a general store. How are you any different from common bugs? Perhaps it was possible to beat this dungeon in one day by thoroughly fumigating it from the first floor. And the idiots shouting, "Wow, such an original idea!" I can't take it anymore. Honestly, didn't you guys ever see Insecticide? Didn't you hear how I fumigated the Great Dungeon? No. I'm just going to skip that part, because what I said sounded fine.
Did you hear how I fumigated the Great Dungeon?
Would a modern person chase bugs around with a sword? This is the actual surprising part here. I'm pretty sure even cavemen, our ancestors from the Stone Age, were still brighter than that. How far do you have to go back to get such idiots? It's one thing if they tried and couldn't come up with anything, but the fact that they didn't even try to think disqualifies them as a sentient life form. What kind of creatures are they? Can I fumigate them as well? Oh, man, and we were going around running up the walls to strike down giant moths flying 10 meters above the ground? Or filling the area with countless slashes to completely seal the escapes of flies that instantaneously moved around at ultra-high speed and unpredictable trajectories? Or showering giant beetles with a series of blows, completely overwhelming them until we could pierce through their defenses? Eh? It does sound like your typical fantasy stuff. Eh? Is this actually the correct approach? No, they just try to make it sound cool.
No, they just try to make it sound cool.
That was close. I was almost tricked by their wording. It's really not what you say, but how you say it.
No, they just try to make it sound cool.
That was close. I was almost tricked by their wording. It's really not what you say, but how you say it, huh? In other words, they were chasing moths until they got near walls. The flies were evading attacks, so they swung their swords around like maniacs until they hit something, and the beetles were too sturdy, so they just kept stabbing them at random until the bugs died. Their way of thinking is absolutely barbaric, or rather, there is no thinking involved at all. Did you guys really come from the modern era? I was pretty sure that you are my classmates, but could it be that you are just some strangers? We are! We are in the same class. We aren't just strangers. Unfortunately, they are modern people. If modern-day people of our previous world were to hear this, they'd surely grieve and moan, asking if these really are our contemporaries. Yeah, it saddens me as well. Seriously? And while continuously making fools of the idiots, I keep burning the insecticide herb while sending the smoke further with wind magic. For some reason, I'm beginning to feel as if it's my approach that's wrong. How utterly baffling. Okay, let's go down. If they are still not dead, I can fumigate them again. They also might drown if flooded. Well, let's think about it after we go and see what's down there. Just what were our struggles until now? Our war versus an army of bugs? Even I thought I had to go through life and death battle when crossing blades with a praying mantis. And it was so hard to deal with that swarm of charging spear locusts. And we had to fight caterpillars while running around the dungeon, constantly avoiding their spit. A bit of fumigation could have put an end to all of that fighting. No, would a modern person even fight giant bugs with a sword, normally? I think they knew about insecticides, even in Middle Ages. And wasn't lime used even in ancient times? Even Dalmatian pellitory was used for quite a long time already. What is Dalmatian pellitory? It is a type of flower.
Okay, you're not going to tell me how to say it. I'm just going to assume it's pellitory then. Pyrethium. That's probably also true, but...
Even in ancient times? Even Dalmatian.
Oops, I cut it a little further back.
And wasn't lime used even in ancient times?
Even Dalmatian pellitory is used for quite a long time already. From which era did you guys get summoned? The Jurassic period? Were they really living in modern society? On the other hand, the geeks were poisoned by it. Am I the only normal person here? How deplorable.
All right, I'm going to head off for a little bit. I got another few chapters done. Let's see. Did I add this to the queue yet? Yeah, so I got 5 chapters done today so far. I might do some more, but I probably won't stream it. I might do it in Discord or something. But I'm going to go do some stuff for a bit first. Thanks for stopping by to the one concurrent viewer that I have. See ya.